Good evening. The Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 Conservation Commission meeting will now come to order. The first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the November 12th meeting. Has anybody read? And does anybody want to offer those minutes?
I did not get a chance to, Chairman. I'm sorry.
I read them, and I move that we approve them as drafted.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that is unanimous. Next item on the agenda is will be certificates of compliance. 2421833, the sewer rehab project, Morningside and Flagship, North Andover DPW. This is a application for a certificate of compliance.
So this order was issued in January of 2022, and it governed rehab of sections of sewer pipes within Morningside Drive and Ipswich Road. Morningside Drive Lane, whichever. Work involved two discrete 10-foot sections of existing sewer to be repaired, and these two sections were entirely within the paved right-of-way, but in the buffer zone. Ipswich Road involved approximately 200 linear feet of existing 8-inch diameter clay pipe to be replaced with an 8-inch PVC. That involved clearing a 20-foot wide path, excavating a 5-foot wide trench centered over the pipe, starting from the manhole at the edge of the road, the paved roadway, and extending 190 feet east to the manhole located at the very edge of the BBW. The path was actually infested with Japanese knotweed and bittersweet. So the work is complete and all areas of disturbance are vegetated. We have a letter from PE certifying compliance, and I would recommend issuing a full and complete certificate of compliance with ongoing conditions as prescribed, unless you have questions for the engineer who is with us this evening.
Let's find out.
No questions, thank you.
All set.
All set, thank you.
I hear no questions. Ready for a motion.
Motion to issue a full certificate of compliance for 242-1833 sewer rehabilitation project.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. You're all set, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
2421672, Lawrence Municipal Airport is requesting to continue to January 28th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. It stands continued. Next item is small project NACC number 353, the Foster Street right-of-way for Mass Electric.
Good evening, everybody. Patrick Nagash.
Hold on one second. Okay.
Yourself, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
I'll
Oh.
take over.
Amy usually likes to go
I
first,
know.
but
I apologize. Yeah.
are you
I
waiving?
don't really care.
Are you waiving your right to go first?
Is it an exemption of some sort?
Finish introducing yourself.
Okay. Nagash Garing with LEC Environmental, presenting on behalf of the applicant, which in this case is National Grid.
Okay. So, the applicant is coming in under a small project, category L, which is other. It did not, it's a new pole, so it didn't qualify for the exemption. So the project consists of installation of one new mid-span utility pole and minor vegetation management. All work will be completed by equipment staged within the Foster Street right-of-way. Vegetation management involves removal of encroaching limbs within 10 feet of the utility pole line and to facilitate installation of the mid-span pole. Work is approximately 60 feet from the BVW as measured by conservation staff in the field. Recommendation is to determine that this project qualifies as Category L, and then vote to issue approval with conditions that require installation of erosion controls. 8-inch mulch stock would be more than sufficient. Pre-construction site visit with the contractor and Conservation Department staff, and then post-construction site inspection to verify compliance and approve removal of the erosion control. Nate with LEC is with us this evening if you have any questions.
Commissioners have any questions? You may get out of here easy, you never know.
I'm all set.
All set.
So this is, just for the record, this is a replacement in kind?
It's a installation of a new midspan pole between two existing.
So it's an additional pole?
It's an additional pole, that's correct.
Not a replacement, okay. I don't know if that is covered, is that covered under small projects?
Well, it's more than it's 60 feet away. I mean,
Yeah.
it's out of the 50, and it's like, under a day to do the work, would you say, Nate?
Yeah, yeah. Be
Yeah.
4 and 5 hours from what I've seen in the field.
Okay,
So,
Yeah, at most like half a day.
all right. Sean?
No questions?
All set, thank you.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no, don't, I want to ask for butters or something.
For a small project?
No?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
If you feel moved,
I move that we approve this under subcategory L, and I'll do it with the recommendations articulated by Amy.
Second.
motion and a second, any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Okay. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Did your motion cover the classification and the approval both?
It did.
Okay, thank you.
Very
All right.
efficient, huh?
Thank you.
All set.
thanks, Nate.
All right. Next item is 242-1917. It's Salem Street. It's a modification request, 989 Salem Street.
So before I start, there's no representation here this evening for this project. The applicant had surgery and he thought he could be here, but he can't. And his project engineer actually left the firm that was working with. So if you want me to present, and I told him if you have questions and we'll continue, or we can continue, wait for someone to be here, it's up to you guys.
So this is a site that we conducted
Yes.
a site visit on Salem Street. I
Yep.
think most of the commission is pretty familiar with it, so I think if the applicant doesn't object, we can probably hear this.
He didn't, he just said, do whatever you want to do, and if you want to continue, I'll,
Well, let's never say that, but
well, you know what I mean.
I understand what, yeah. Why don't you
Okay.
present it on behalf, and we'll, if we can get it done, we'll
Okay.
do it, okay?
All right,
All right.
let me just pull up the plan here. Alrighty, so you recall issuing an order in October, and the project involves a driveway rehab, expansion and reconfiguration, addition of front step and walkway to the house, grading and retaining wall with mitigation plantings. Waiver was granted for the work in the 25 and the 50 for driveway widening and retaining wall install. After reevaluating the site plan, once the order was issued, the applicant realized an error in the layout of the retaining wall location and additional pavement that was not needed. We talked on the phone. He reminded me of the on-site conversation that we all had collectively about the 8-inch deciduous tree right here. And I do remember that the suggestion was made, perhaps we could put the retaining wall on this side of the tree and then do a straight shot down. And there was no major objections to that. It was originally the retaining wall was going to be closer to the wetland. So, and then the plan that we ended up looking at finally was where my cursor is, where, this was where they showed it. And I didn't, it didn't really click when I saw it, and I didn't question it. So he wants to shift it back to in front of the tree, and the red part is where he's proposing now. This cross-hatched area of pavement is gonna go away, like, they don't want to do that. And it would just be grading, you know, for front lawn, basically. And so this slope, also, I asked that they show that this slope is going to get seeded, because there's some bare patchy spots that I really could use a shade mix. The other change, he talked to me about shed, and, you know, the site's pretty constrained with the 50, and so I advise that if you really want a shed, you could do 2 8x8s that would be allowed for 5-foot offset to the property line, as long as they're outside their 50. So they're showing that right here, and the dash lines are drip edges for roof runoff. So the entrance to this shed would be on this side, and entrance to that shed would be on this side, and the roof would, you know, shed on either side of, on this side and that side. So, and then they're showing underground wire to connect to that pole, to get rid of the overhead wires. So part of it is they're also offering an additional 475 square feet of proposed planting mitigation. So they'll be relinquishing additional lawn in the 25. They did submit a waiver request for mainly the retaining wall. But that's it in a nutshell in terms of tweaks for,
And they've submitted an alternatives analysis as part of the filing.
yeah, their waiver request is in there. Yep.
David, you get to lead off.
I guess I just want to make sure I'm clear on where we are and what's being asked. So we had already approved the project and issued an OOC.
Yes.
They came back, and so the one thing of, okay, where the retaining wall is shown in the drawing is not where we really wanted to put it.
Where
We
you-
really want to put it here.
Yeah.
I understand that, but now they're also adding 2 new sheds
Sheds outside the 50.
and more lawn?
Yeah, less pavement out front here, so
No,
this.
the proposed planting
Oh,
down
no,
here, you
no.
said something about,
Relinquishing lawn, so
Oh, relinquishing lawn, sorry.
More
Okay.
plantings are added. So additional 475 square feet of plantings.
okay. That was my only question. Thank you.
What's that distance to disturbance on the directly to the wetlands there?
Well, the closest is actually,
No, I'm talking about his new area where he decided he needed more yard.
I'd have to measure that.
Because, I mean, I did not go on the site visit, so I was not privy to where we thought the wall should go. So from
Right.
my perspective, it looks like he just decided, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
move it closer and get myself more yards. So as it
Now-
stands, I'm not gonna support that comment.
I do
Disturbing.
believe that, that's where we all talked about, and the engineer just didn't pick it up onto the plan.
Well, then I would not have supported it at the first one, because I was not at that site visit.
Right.
That's a 3-to-1 slope, it looks like, or at least a pretty steep slope, and you're
It's-
gonna put a landscape wall on that one and try to vegetate it? Nah. I don't need to beat the dead horse anymore, I'm done.
No, that's all right. I don't have a scale on it.
Sure.
Amy, is anything else getting closer to the wetland other than the wall, the
No.
retaining wall?
No.
I was on the site visit. I don't know if I was here when the waiver was voted on, and I'm sure if I was, I voted against it.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not in favor of the wall getting closer to the wetland
Okay.
than's already approved. The other stuff that he's doing looks fine to me.
So, the waiver request, it deals with the wall only. That's the purpose of the
Yeah.
waiver request, right?
Yep.
Well done, Matt. You have anything?
Can I just ask, the underground wire, was that part of the original ask?
No,
Is that something
that's-
we have to,
No, that's additional.
okay.
That's new with this modification.
Sorry to interrupt, is that doesn't need a waiver though, does it?
No, it's
The
just.
the underground utility?
Yeah.
No,
It's all,
there's no waiver needed. We consider that
Yeah,
to be a
it's-
temporary disturbance.
Yeah, it would be
And,
temporary.
we historically allow underground utility and sewer hookups.
maybe I should have phrased it differently. Is it 25 feet from a wetland?
At some point.
Yeah.
You talking about the trench?
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Yeah.
where the wire is above ground, where they're gonna put it below ground. Are they gonna trench 25 feet from a wetland?
Well,
Well, actually, I'm sorry, there's an existing underground wire, and they're shifting the location a bit. So there's already one there, and they just wanna change the trajectory a little bit to a different corner of the house. So, here is. Here's the existing underground wire right here, this
Okay.
line. And then they just wanna take it and shoot it this way to get to this corner of the house.
Okay.
So, yeah. We can continue if we need, you
Well,
know,
I'm reading the scope of work on the alternatives analysis, and the basis of the request seems to be everything we're talking about. The scope of work includes repaving and expansion of the existing driveway, construction of retaining walls, removal of a pine tree, relocation of existing utility pole, driveway expansion, 14-foot expansion of proposed retaining walls. So that's the whole basis of their waiver request. If you think it would be beneficial to have a representative here before we make any findings, probably that would be prudent, I think.
yep. Yep. I
So-
mean, I'm not here to defend, you know what I mean? I'm just.
Right, and I would be happy to call a vote if they had a rep here. They really don't, and they're not represented. I feel that it would be reasonable to let them show up at the next meeting with a representative. So,
Make a motion to continue to
Oh, I
January
think-
20.
hold on.
Sorry, Matt.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I just ask one, this may be moot if we're gonna continue, but just one question, on the section of driveway,
Yeah,
sort of behind sort of between the original wall, the originally approved wall and the proposed wall.
so this, where I'm.
Yeah, that's grass now, right? That's not
Yes.
existing, so they had asked,
Yeah, that's new pavement that they asked for, and then I said, I don't want that much, so let's back off and eliminate that.
Okay, Brad, that was a little bit in response to your comment, I don't know if it changed anything, but I just.
No, my problem is where they've got the wall now.
Yeah.
They got a rock wall on top of a steep slope. That thing ain't gonna stay there. That's- And that's way too close, so, I mean, you can let their engineer, I don't know
Okay,
what the rest of the temperature of the room is, but.
Oh, I think the minimum we should do is allow them to be present. I'm looking for a motion to continue.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed, and that's unanimous. It stands continued.
to the first meeting in January, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. That's fine.
We move on now to the notice of intent section. 242, 1922, 121 Mill Pond Townhouses, Verizon, New England.
somewhere, isn't it? All right, I'm gonna have to go down. This is gonna be hard, anyway, okay. I'll just give it a rundown and then you can introduce yourself. All right. All right, so this work consists of installation of underground conduit from the existing electrical cabinets at the following buildings, number 8, number 10, 13, and 18. The proposed conduit has a half-inch inner diameter and a 5/8 inch outer diameter and will be placed 18 to 24 inches below grade. Conduit will be installed by trenching or missile boring to be determined based on field conditions. If installed by missile boring, a hole will be dug at each end of the proposed conduit, and a boring machine will drill between each hole. Conduit is then installed inside the drill hole. If trenched, the trench would be approximately 6 inches wide. A waiver request has been submitted as work is within the 25 no disturb zone at buildings 13 and 18. I reviewed the wetland delineation in the field and made no changes to the flagging. When I was out on site, the most concerning trenching, I think, would be at building 13 near units 87, 88, and 89. There are a couple of large trees right in the path, and their root systems are, at grade, some of them. So, I think those root systems will be impacted. And I'll let the project representative introduce himself and fill in any blanks or answer questions.
Yeah, just for the record, my name is Jared Bastis. I'm with Verdantis. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Verizon New England. I think Amy's done a decent job explaining the project. Just proposing to install conduit for communications, fiber optic services to the buildings. It's going to be rerouted through the existing cabinet behind the buildings. It'll be installed via trenching or missile boring. We've proposed erosion controls, a silt sock, straw wattle down slope of everything so that, anything that could potentially, flow away from the site is captured. All the trenches would be closed at the end of each day. Permanent stabilization would be grass or sod and seed that.
So, forgive my ignorance on this. What's the difference between missile and horizontal directional drilling? Are they just two completely different things, or am I mixing up terms?
They're pretty
Substantially
much
the same.
Yeah.
Okay, just, I know enough to be dangerous. Has a Massachusetts certified arborist gone through the trees and made any recommendations? Has one been consulted?
No.
Okay, those are my two questions.
Do we have an alternatives analysis?
Yeah, waiver request is in there after the
I'm all set right now.
summary.
I know David said he had 2 questions, but there was really a third one he didn't ask. Why hasn't one been consulted?
The intent is not to impact any trees or have to do anything. It's going to be.
Right, but there's a root system there, which is part of a tree. Just because it's below ground doesn't mean it's not part of the tree. And it sounds like there are some concerns that the work to be done might negatively affect the trees because of that root system. What have you guys done to analyze that?
We have not looked at that yet.
Okay, thank you for being direct. I like that. We don't always get that. I have no other questions.
So I guess, kind of looking at the waiver request, there are some reasons why you can't go into other, why you can't come from the front of the building, but there's not, I guess I'm not seeing enough information, and I don't really see pavement as like a reason why. I kind of just see
It also has to do with the construction of the buildings, as the buildings are a little bit older. It's just where it actually comes into the building, where they have to make the penetration and install the jack for the new service. It's the routing is behind the buildings. There's also garages and foundations near there. So this was a seemingly easier way to install that, and is a little less impactful because there's not excavation and there's not repaving and those
it's cheaper.
items. It's a little bit, yes, that is one reason, but it is also a little bit easier. It's a little less time consuming. It's not,
Yeah, so understood. I guess our job is kind of to weigh that versus like the potential environmental impacts. Like I think other members mentioned the trees, so just would want some additional information. I think everyone mentioned that previously, though.
My questions are covered.
So, talk to us a little bit about the scope of work, the basis of what you're doing. What exactly is the reason for the run? Are you changing out cable that services the build? This is cable, right? This is not power.
It's fiber optic.
Fiber optic,
It's
so
new-
it's
it's new
not
fiber
high
service.
voltage,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
anything that requires 48 inches.
No.
You can be a little more flexible with fiber optic. It's not that difficult to move around.
Yeah.
Have you considered taking alternative routes or modifying your route to avoid the trees and do away with the need for a waiver? Fiber
well-
optic cable is not, I mean, seriously.
Yeah, that would be determined in the field. We would try to reroute everything around any root systems or anything like
Well,
that.
we don't want it determined in the field. We'd like to have it squared away at this level. Amy, do you have any recommendations, guys? I'm tempted to send them back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I think, so here is, I'm showing, I don't know what number building this is, hold on a second. The rest of the routes for the other buildings weren't concerning to me because they were farther away from vegetation and root systems. They were more in a open lawn area. Building 18 didn't have any trees along the pond to worry about. Building 8 was, pretty, there was more of a lawn area, so I didn't have any concern there. Same with building 10. It's really building 13 that is problematic because of the trees. Now,
But I guess the question I'm
Plan.
asking is there any reason why you can't modify that route?
this
It's just fiber optic cable.
for building 13.
That could be modified, yes.
It can be. So the answer is yes,
Yeah,
the route
I
can be
think-
modified.
Yeah, so, I mean, not,
So it ought
I
to be,
mean, right.
I think.
Now, are these trees gonna last forever with the way they look?
The way
You
the reason
know
I'm
what I
asking
mean?
about the trees is because it's within 25 feet.
Yes,
And so you're already going through a really narrow corridor there.
yes,
With those trees. It's not specifically about the trees, it's about, those trees are supporting that bank. You're right, I mean, they're not gonna be there for forever, but
right,
the reason I was asking was specifically like, okay, you're in the 25-foot, no disturb, and you're going through root
root
systems,
systems. Right,
you know.
yep.
So we're just talking about building 13.
I think
That seems
I
to be
think,
where
yes.
Yeah,
we're
that's
stuck.
the
Yes.
sticky
So-
wicket, in my opinion.
So, understanding what's going on, it sounds like building 13 is the only place where there's a question. Can you come back with an alternative route for it?
Yes.
Yeah, or have a certified arborist take a look at it. I think, again, not knowing whether we're boring or trenching is gonna make a difference on that too.
This cable can be moved around.
Yeah, I
You
would
can- you can
suggest
do-
finding a
you can
different
do-
route.
This is not like
Yeah.
a 5,000 volt cable underground that has to be in rigid conduit. This is something that's very flexible.
Yeah. I would say if an alternative route can be found and just avoid that whole area.
We're talking about just 13. Okay, that's the only sticking point. Everything else appears to have a consensus.
Right, so the other one that's closest to the pond, I'll pull up pictures, is this, but there's no, you know, so I'm not
Yes, it's,
as concerned. This
is a cut and cover operation. It's a temporary disturbance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So it's not
Yeah.
a big, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. I'm just saying.
No, I know, but-
There seems to be resistance at 13.
Yep.
So the way to
Yes.
cure it is to come up with an alternative route, and the whole thing flies.
Yep. Or I even have I think it's worth even having them diagnosed just to know what's up with them.
An arborist may look at it and go, actually, those trees need to go.
I don't know either. Right. I'm
Okay.
sure the residents wouldn't shed a tear about that either, but, I mean, if it's something that's gonna fall and then rip out a whole bunch of bank,
And then if I
or, we don't need
And
to,
your fiber optic cable.
right. Or eventually, I don't know whether it's,
All right, sir, so
Who knows? I
we'll
don't
give you a
know.
continuance. You can come back with an alternative route for that, and answer some of the questions that are being asked. That be acceptable? So, with that,
Do you need to ask for butters?
oh, yeah.
let me, this is a notice. Are there any abutters present that want to be heard? Any abutters or residents or anybody that wants to be heard? I don't hear any answers.
We did receive a support letter from a resident in the complex, so,
In support of the project?
in support of the project.
Oh, yeah, we wanna have fiber for everything.
Would- I-
So I would make a motion to continue till the
First.
first January meeting,
Yeah.
enough time for you? Okay, for the first,
It's
the 14th of January.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. First meeting in January. Thank you.
Thank you.
Two four two 1921, 243 Great Pond Road.
Okay. Rich Kirby with LEC is with us this evening. I'll give an overview, and I'll let him fill in any gaps, and then you can ask questions. Alrighty, so this project entails removal of an existing sports court and associated gravel, and construction of a 24 by 36 greenhouse, utility connections, roof infiltration trenching, or trench, stone path, deck, raised flower beds, a short retaining wall and steps, perimeter post and rail wired fence, and there will be an internal French drain connection to the sewer inside the building. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, sanitary or?
Sewer, yes, yep. So it's gonna get electric, gas, sewer, and water. Yep, so those four, and they need to be added to the plan, so it's. Work is within the 200-foot riverfront area, 100-foot buffer zone to BVW, and the 50-foot no-build zone. No work is within the 25-foot no-disturb zone. The wetland located to the north may contain a potential vernal pool per natural heritage maps, but it's very hard to obviously verify at this time of the year, and I have no idea how much BVW surrounds the pool, or even where the pool is exactly, so it's sort of an unknown if even the setbacks reach the area of project. So, let's see. The proposed fence will be the only thing that would land in the vernal pool offsets, if there are any. And it would be in the 50-foot or the 75-foot no-build zone. I don't think it would be in the 50-foot no-disturb zone to the pool. They did do stormwater peer review Applicant's response materials are in your packets. The planning board has opened and had one hearing.
That's correct.
Okay. And some of their questions raised at the first hearing just involved utility connections, changing the greenhouse floor material from a crushed stone to a concrete slab to better contain any fertilizer spills, provide calcs for reduction in impervious surface, and waiting on the second set of peer review comments. So I'll hand it over to Rich.
If I could just jump in.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm John McGee from.
We just need you to go, happy to have you.
Yeah, I can have a seat.
Sure, microphone and
It's just
hold the podium. We need you on record.
Sure, John McGee from McGee Custom Homes. I'm overseeing the potential project that you're looking at. So we got a continuance for, I believe it's about 2 weeks away, and the outside consultant that planning utilizes for drainage was just reviewing the civil engineer's plan around the infiltration trench. So everything else, there were a couple utility pieces we were going to add as well. All in all, it went very well. So, but I'll hand it over to Richard. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Good evening, Commission members. I'm Rich Kirby from LEC Environmental. I do have a couple extra copies of the 11 by 17s of the plan, if anyone's interested.
If you want a full plan set, I didn't give you every single, did I give you every single sheet?
I have them if you're interested. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take some sets here, thank you.
Great. Wouldn't mind sharing.
Thank you.
So this site is a 2.5 acre property in the central portion of town. And there's a perennial stream that flows to the north of the house. North is facing down on this plan. And the stream continues beneath a shared driveway to the east. And so it pretty much places the entire project footprint within the riverfront area, with the exception of a small triangle that's within the side yard setback. There's a sports court off the back of the existing attached garage, and that's going to be that's all going to be removed along with some crushed stone and things. So we're really redeveloping degraded riverfront area by way of removing the sports court and constructing the greenhouse. There will be a reduction of impervious area and thereby a reduction of the degraded riverfront area on the site. And the greenhouse is located as far from the river as possible while still being outside that side yard setback. The greenhouse is also located outside the 100-foot buffer zone. There is stormwater management proposed for the greenhouse in the form of a stone trench on 3 sides of the greenhouse. There'll be a granite stepping stone pathway that extends from the greenhouse to the existing deck, and there'll be 3 raised planting beds along the east side of that stepping stone walkway. The applicant's also proposing a backyard fence enclosure, which will comprise of a 4-foot high post and rail chain link fence with 4-inch wire mesh. So, oh, sorry, post and rail fence with a metal mesh. Thank you for clarifying that. Which will keep the dogs in the backyard, but still allow for most wildlife movement, squirrels, frogs, things like that. We did include a waiver request because roughly 14 of those posts of the post and rail fence will be within the 50-foot buffer zone. 4x4 post times 14 results in about 2 square feet of permanent alteration. And the intent is just to enclose the backyard. There's no natural vegetation that would be altered, and I think it'll also provide a nice physical barrier between the domestic activity of the house in the backyard and the naturalized vegetation that occurs within the buffer zone next to the meadow there. Let's see. The ephemeral pool habitat. So we delineated the bank mean annual high water line associated with the perennial stream that occurs north of the building, or north of the house. If you scroll down there, that green line, and the last flag to the right on the plan is B18, and that's the point at which the stream flows into a ponded area, which is a potential vernal pool. The distance between that flag and the fence is 85 feet, so we're about 85 feet away with our post and rail fence, and again, that's within or along the existing lawn edge, so no natural vegetation is proposed to be altered. And I,
B18 is sort of where it starts to open up.
that's where the stream
does.
ends and the pond begins.
Okay, I didn't know if it was more BVW and then pond.
I think it's,
area.
there may be BVW adjacent to flag B18 and adjacent to the pond as it opens up
Yeah.
there. But
Okay.
that seems to be the
Okay.
closest point to the open water habitat, if you will.
Okay, it looked like a lot more BVW, okay.
Yeah, so with that, I think we'd be happy to turn it back to the commission and answer any questions you may have.
I have one question. So this deck exists? That's an existing deck, or is it new?
No, that would be a new deck.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that's new. I thought that was existing.
Yeah,
No,
that,
that would be new.
yeah,
Oh, okay, that's so there's a
That's
new, a
existing.
new section there. Okay,
okay,
Kitchen access.
gotcha. All right.
thanks for clarifying that.
All right, I will pop this here, okay. Oh, yeah. I can do that too. I'll just pop that up.
There, there's a rendering there, the greenhouse, to give you a sense of the scale, what it would look like.
Really, the only thing in jurisdiction is this fence, it looks like.
No, it's riverfront.
Yeah, the whole site's,
It's
just about the whole
it's- all
site's
of
in the
it's in
riverfront area.
riverfront.
Okay, I was just looking at the 100-foot, okay. Guess we need to figure out our fence rules right now, huh?
Well, when it gets to me, I'll say what I always say. We don't consider, I know the regulation says it is, but historically, this commission doesn't consider a fence to be a structure.
Okay,
And that has been debated, and it's currently in front of our bylaw review committee. But to be fair and to be honest, we don't consider it to be a structure offense.
all right, so then we don't need a waiver for the fence location?
That's my humble opinion.
Okay,
I can be outvoted.
fair enough.
So, the only thing that needs a waiver is the fence. And what is the distance between the fence and the wetland at its closest point?
It's at the edge of the 25.
Yep. And this is a vernal pool that it's,
Well, it's at the 25 of the non-vernal pool side
Okay.
and 85 to the
Yeah.
potential vernal pool side.
Yep.
For context, there's a wet meadow that occurs off to plan view right. That BVW is a wet meadow, and there are no disturbance markers along the 25-foot buffer zone to that wetland. So that no disturbance zone of 25 feet is already marked in the field with, I think there must be 4 or 5 foot tall posts with conservation signage on them. So the fence would be, in line or farther from those existing conservation markers.
other than to benefit the homeowner and the dogs, is there any reason why the fence couldn't be put at the 50?
Well, I think they want to take full advantage of the backyard that they have.
Like I said, other than for the
Yeah,
benefit of the
there'd
dogs,
be,
is there any reason why it couldn't be at the 50?
I
So
suppose
yes or no question.
I suppose it could be, but then we'd have this lawn area between the fence and the no disturbance zone that wouldn't be used, I guess.
Yep. Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Chris?
So there's a sloped vehicle access.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just for like lawn maintenance or like what?
I think
guess
it's
it
for the
can explain that.
lawnmower.
Okay.
Right,
So it's
is that
not
right,
for,
John,
like,
for the lawnmower to
cars?
get into the greenhouse?
I don't know about a lawnmower, but it's more for just taking almost carts of flowers and vegetables up the ramp.
Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
okay.
That makes sense. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't like cars were going to be driving over
No,
the lawn
definitely
and
not.
stuff like that.
It's gonna be a nice greenhouse. You probably wanna
Oh,
keep the
it's gonna be
lawnmower in the garage.
Yes.
Yeah, the renderings looked very nice. That's all.
No questions, thank you.
I just got one comment. The stormwater report is not approved yet, right?
No.
Okay, so they're gonna be coming back, I imagine. One thing I would like to see when you come back, I see the leader heading for a chain link fence heading to nothing. I would like to see where the existing fence is today to compare it to where we'd like to move it to.
Would you mind showing me on the plan where you mean? Okay.
Pointing to no.
There, that's mislabeled, I believe.
Somewhere else it says to be relocated.
The chain link around the sports court we're removing. That currently exists, but that would be removed.
Okay. I would just like to see the extents of whatever fence you got out there. To see what
Okay.
you're expanding on.
Yeah, it's not clear.
Amy, you had
Works out.
4 bullet items that you had questions on.
Oh, just, that came out of the planning board meeting that we should have too. They did talk about, containing fertilizer spills. There's going to be internal French drain that's gonna connect to the town sewers, to the system. It's not a septic, it's, the town sewer, so, but they also talked about it was gonna be a gravel, floor.
That's correct.
Originally.
It was originally proposed, but the slab makes much more sense
Yeah.
after the discussion with planning.
Yeah.
You mentioned the tie-in to the town sewer. Is it actual sewer tie-in and not stormwater? Because that would appear to me to be a violation of the inflow and infiltration
No, it has to tie in for the building code,
to,
the sewer, ordinance.
so they don't consider that I&I? No kidding.
Yeah, that's building code.
Is that new?
No.
Well, okay. I'll reserve that conversation for another time. I just. Amy, do you have any other?
Yeah, just, getting the calcs for reduction in impervious area and then, waiting for that second peer review
Okay.
letter.
Any other questions from here at this time? Any abutters that want to be heard? Anybody at all? No abutters answer. So we're not closing, we're continuing. Okay. So, first meeting in January be sufficient?
I have 2 other hearings that night, but we'll make it work.
We can go to the second meeting in January if you want. We have 2.
We'll stick to it's the 14th is the first one, or the second one is the 28th. Okay, let's go to the 14th.
Yeah, if you have to, we can always kick you.
Right.
All right. I already asked,
Oh, you did, okay.
and
No
not a
abutters.
one of them raised their hand.
Okay,
Sounds like a good time for a motion.
Somebody needs to be moved now at this time.
I move to continue this file or project to the first meeting in January.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you.
All right, thanks
Thank you.
very much.
Yeah.
Have a good holiday.
You too. Do we have a DEP number on the next one, Amy? 24219XX? No. No DEP number. Okay, it's 1591 Osgood Street. It is a notice of intent. How you doing? Give us a minute, we'll get it queued up and get you going.
okay. Proposed project involves demolition of existing structures and reclaiming of paved areas, construction of a new 4-story mixed-use building on the 2.85 acre parcel with proposed 112 parking spaces, utility infrastructure, and stormwater management. The applicant for stormwater is proposing catch basins and 2 subsurface infiltration chamber systems. Work within the buffer zone includes removal of pavement from within between the wetland and the limit of the 50-foot no-build zone, and that footprint will be restored, loamed, and seeded, partially involving some grading off of the parking lot and some plantings, but no structures. Bordering vegetated wetland is on site. I reviewed the wetland flagging for what was on site and had no changes. There is a system off-site that I didn't go on to private property, but viewed that and it looked reasonable in terms of the delineation. Currently, there's 0 stormwater management on the site. There will be an increase of 10,000 square feet of impervious surface, but all of the new and existing impervious square footage will be treated, so it's a big improvement. Planning Board has held 2 hearings, and the board is having 3 separate peer reviews done. One for stormwater with Horsley Witten, civil engineering with Hancock, and traffic with VHB. So we have first round of comments and responses for stormwater and civil. Those are in your packets. And that's a really high-level overview. Representatives are here this evening. You can introduce yourselves and fill in any gaps.
Great, thanks, Amy.
Yep.
Sean Moriarty with Jones and Beach, Houston Hubbard also with Jones and Beach. And yeah, that was a great breakdown. We have one wetland area on the site, which is over on the eastern portion, dominated by red maple. And the majority of the site, it consists of Jimmy's Pizza right now, and then a bit of a miniature golf course layout. And then towards the eastern portion of the lot, closest to the wetland, there's an area of aging, degraded asphalt that's currently being used for vehicle storage. And as was mentioned, there's no stormwater management for that portion of the property, or any portion of the property, really. So, and then, as was also mentioned, there's a wetland to the north of the property that was visually delineated and marked on the plan with the subsequent buffer. So what the development's doing essentially is pulling the degrading asphalt, pulling that out of the 100. There's going to be a reduction of impervious surface in the 100-foot buffer and the 50, pulling everything out of the 50 completely. That's going to be regraded and seeded with native vegetation. And then the stormwater system, which will actually drain or shed water away from the wetland areas and into the municipal system. So overall, we believe it's an improvement environmentally on what the current site conditions are. And I guess to describe stormwater, I'll turn it over to Houston.
Yes. Existing conditions, the parking area at the east section of the site, or the top of the lot, there's no curbing currently, and it is being used for vehicle parking, and so this presents oil leaking and down to those wetlands. So as Sean said, we're reducing that impervious area to the wetland buffers and proposing curbing around the entire parking field. And for the proposed drainage, we have deep sump catch basins, all of which are offline, and those will connect into underground chamber systems. Those chamber systems have an isolator row for pre-treatment, and those all outlet down to Osgood Street.
No questions, thank you.
Since we don't have a file number, I'm not going to get too far into it, but especially I'm going to have to review the stormwater report. I hope that they touch on the separation of an underground system to building foundations.
Yes, we did get a comment about that, I believe, in the drainage comments, about a 10-foot separation from the building.
10 foot?
Yeah.
No, it's bigger than that for info. Look at table AA, in, volume 2, chapter 1, I believe.
Okay.
I'm going to get that wrong if I say it.
Oh, all right.
Table AA. It's in the
Table AA.
BMP, the stormwater handbook.
Okay.
Because you're coming down the hill there, so that is upstream of the foundation. So I want to see the adequate separation there. Are these dumpsters within the 100-foot buffer?
Yes.
Can we not do that? Can we look for an alternate location to store those, please?
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say for now.
Okay. Anything right now, Sean?
Houston, we have a problem. No, I'm just kidding. Just want to say that. I have no questions.
Heard that a lot.
Chris?
I just have one comment, because I know we're waiting on the final peer reviews. Along the north property line, was an analysis done between the infiltration system and the slope for breakout?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
The underground chamber system number 2. It looks like it's pretty far back, but that's a pretty steep slope along the north property line. So I just want to confirm that there's not going to be any breakout of infiltration.
I don't have an answer for that right now. I can talk with our project lead on that and get back to you.
No problem. Yeah, I know we're going to continue it anyway,
Yeah.
so.
No questions for now. Thank you.
Do you have a 21E on this property?
Sorry?
Do you have a hazmat report on this property?
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
think it's a 21E we're talking about. There was a comment mentioned about vehicle storage and oil leaking at the top of the hill.
Sure.
Has there been any type of
Investigation.
investigation into that? How deep the oil may be? Does it need to be excavated out?
No. That's more of an assumption that there could be oil from vehicles, and that's something we can look into.
So I'm asking you to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like you to look into that. If you have to do test wells, whatever you need to do to be able to say with great certainty that there's no oil pollution, no MBTEs or
Right.
anything in the soil up there, because that all comes downhill.
Yep. All right.
Was there a known release, or is this just because there was parking?
I don't know.
I think
I'm asking if there's ever, a 21E would tell us if there had been a release.
Yeah, sure. Before we do that, could we get a better inventory of actually what vehicles have been being stored there, and if there's really oil leaking to be
Yeah, well,
worried
you
about?
can do-
We were speculating a little bit because they look old, a couple of them, but
No doubt.
Is
It would be prudent to do some work on it
okay.
and come back with some certainty that yes or no, or we did this and we did that, we excavated, we did a boring.
Yeah.
Tell us something.
We'll do due diligence on that.
Do your diligence, yes. Thank you.
I actually would like to see the addition of, in addition to silt fence as the primary erosion control, I'd like for mulch stock to be included for areas that are next to the wetland or in the buffer as a dual tandem.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Any abutters or residents that want to inquire? Anybody? And none answer, for the record.
Just one follow-up question, Amy.
Sir?
How close to the wetland are they getting with the development? And does it make sense to have some kind of barrier or something between wetlands and what they're developing?
So they're pulling further away.
Yeah, we're pulling further away from the wetland with the development.
Yep. And would you say the same for the off-site wetland? That's getting a little bit farther away from the off-site wetland?
We go back, yes. Yes, we're pulling that pavement that's right there
Yep,
back away
okay,
from
so
that.
this gray is existing pavement, right?
Yep.
Yep. So it's, yeah, partially in the 25
Yeah,
on this
it
side,
is. Yep.
and at the edge of the 25 on that one, and then it's gonna get, everything is gonna be pulled outside the 50. So, yeah,
Yes.
further away,
It's further away.
yep.
And what is the mixed use? Is this going to be residential? Partly
Residential and retail, yeah.
Yep.
And also storage on the first floor.
Are you proposing anything between, so you're gonna have buildings, grass, wetlands, correct?
Correct.
As you move away. Have you guys thought about doing anything to try to put a barrier between the buildings and the wetland?
We
Whether it
haven't
be
discussed
fence?
that, no,
If you think, give it some consideration.
for sure.
I know generally we try to have a barrier so people don't go past that 25. Sometimes we propose 2x2 stone freestanding walls, other times they'll do fences, but something to try to just keep people out of there.
Sure.
And obviously, the obvious fallback is just putting markers up there.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, we're going to continue this. Now, you're going to have to be continued.
Okay.
First meeting in January or the second meeting in January, whichever. It's up to you. First meeting, okay. I'm ready for a motion.
I don't know if any butters.
I asked.
Oh, you did?
I asked.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear that.
I
I'm
begged.
sorry.
I begged them.
I'm sorry.
Nobody would get up.
Motion to continue to the first weekend in January.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we move on to the enforcement order section. 55 South Bradford Street, continued from 10/22/25.
The last remaining item for this was installation of wetland posts and markers at the 25-foot no disturb zone. That was done by the deadline, and I verified in the field, and there's nothing else to be done, so I would recommend lifting the EO.
Anybody that wants to move to lift the EO?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second to lift. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. 350 Sharpness Pond Road. This is an enforcement order
Yep.
follow-up from 11/12/25.
So we were waiting for the 2-year growing season for the shrubs, and they look fine, and they're doing well. The wetland posts are installed per the enforcement order. We have a final monitoring report from the wetland scientist. They do need to remove the erosion control, but other than that, they're back into compliance. It's stable, they can remove it, so,
So your recommendation is to lift it?
to lift it,
Based
yep,
on your inspection of the
Yep.
site?
yep.
Ready for a motion?
I have
Sure.
to ask, are these people truly happy with the full
I told her
8-foot
they should-
section?
No, I
standing up?
talked to the homeowner when I was there. I said, you can cut those down a little bit.
So,
And he's like, I can? And I said, yeah, you can do like 2 feet. And he's like, oh, that would be great. So he
Okay.
knows that he doesn't have to have 4-foot
Very good.
posts up there.
good, okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
That looks ridiculous.
Yes, yes, yes,
Great, so he's gonna cut them down and then.
yeah. I said, just no more than 2 feet,
Very good. Motion to lift the enforcement order for 350 Sharpness Pond Road.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that is unanimous. 242-829 Holt Road landfill, Mass DEP.
So I was able to get some more clarity around what we're waiting for, and it's, Mass DEP needs funding to actually do the design plans. So that's what they're circling for.
It's always a good answer when you don't want to do the job right away, huh? We don't have any money? Yeah.
I guess. So I recommended a continuance to the, what did I say? The May 13th meeting of 2026.
Last time this was in front of us, Amy, I requested that you contact them and have a monitoring the site, because it's gonna take a year and a day for them to get back there and do anything.
This is the landfill. I don't recall that request. Are you thinking the glass pile?
I'm thinking the glass pile, is that,
Okay,
is that
they
not
already
this?
know, yep. The
Is this-
glass pile is being monitored per the
They
commission's
have appointed a
requirement.
monitor to it.
Yes.
All right, so then, let's talk about this one. Is this in a stable state? Because they wanna hit the pause button on this one, too.
Yeah,
So I have the same concern.
right,
There's gotta be a grown-up in charge somewhere.
yeah. Not an unreasonable request, I don't think.
So I would request that you make contact with them at your earliest convenience,
Yep,
and I'm gonna hope that the commission will back me up on this, and we want a monitor in place pending their next activity.
Agreed.
Okay. And that's at a frequency of, I think we did half-inch,
Yeah,
Rain
we set a
events.
standard on the last one.
yes.
In fact, if I
Yeah, it
recall,
was
Marissa had the
a
numbers.
snowfall of a foot or more with significant warming.
Same standard.
thing, okay.
Same standard as
Yep,
the glass
glass-
pile.
okay.
That way we have a consistent standard that we're going by.
Okay.
And,
Yep. Maybe you guys can take a vote on that and
I'm
then-
gonna do that.
Okay.
And, I'm gonna call the vote in a minute.
Okay.
I wanna, when you make contact with them, explain to them that it's, time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, all those in favor?
Well, I move that we request everything Al just requested.
Just discussion, just a quick.
Discussion,
Um,
discussion.
Educate me a little bit. In order to prepare design drawings, DEP needs to obtain funding. Why is DEP preparing drawings?
Well, no, they're having CDM Smith do it, but they don't have the funds to pay CDM Smith to do the design.
Why is DEP paying anybody?
I don't know,
But I mean, isn't this, who owns this land?
a Mass DEP.
Mass DEP. Okay, that's my answer. Thank you.
Well, yeah, they're not gonna
Yeah,
design
okay.
their own
Got it.
thing for their own property.
Some keen cross-examination
Yeah,
there, Counsel.
yeah.
There we go,
Maybe I
yes,
should've just asked who
yes,
owned
it
it.
is, it's state-owned property, yes.
There we go. Mystery solved.
Way to work there, kid.
Yep.
All right, we have a motion and a
Second.
second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you all.
All right, and so a motion to continue to the May 13th, 2026 meeting?
So move. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous as well.
Okay.
105 Hillside Road. Continued from 12/11/24. They call you out of the bullpen tonight?
Sure did, Mr. Chairman.
We weren't expecting you.
No. Well, this is for Hillside Road. Okay. So the commission may recall this project. A second amended enforcement order was issued to remove a concrete walkway, cutting and relocation of a 4-inch drain pipe, relocate a play structure outside the 25-foot no disturb, and to raise and remove a shed that was on the property itself. So the majority of these items have been done and performed. The commission had approved a plan that showed a portion of the concrete walkway on the side of the dwelling to be removed. It was 160 square feet. I was in front of the commission requesting that that stay in place. The commission voted that it was required to be removed. I met Amy out on the site because, as you can see on the plan, the concrete walkway to be removed, which is hatched, goes up to the chimney itself. But I had found some aerials that had shown the previous steps extend past the chimney towards the rear of the backyard. And Mr. Alderman had left 2 concrete steps. So one of the proposals that I have in front of you this evening is, can we keep those 2 remaining steps in place because they were previously there? One of the discussions that we had in the past was if the structures were previously there, it could stay. Or at least that was my takeaway leaving the meeting last year at some point. So that is one of the requests. In addition to that, my client had somehow reached out to the former homeowner. They crossed paths, and it was discovered that the walkway actually extended from the side of the dwelling to the rear concrete patio behind the dwelling. And I had provided a video to Amy showing, that's an email from the previous homeowner showing where the original concrete walkway was. And in addition to that, there was a video that actually showed the concrete walkway in that location, just to provide the evidence. At the time of the enforcement, we didn't have this information. I couldn't present it to the commission. The previous owner itself, prior to selling the property to my client, had removed that portion of the walkway because it was in disrepair and it was a hazard. I'm requesting the commission to consider allowing that walkway to connect from the 2 steps that remain to the patio itself. Because it was there, it was a previous structure, it connected, it provides access from the front of the house, around the side of the dwelling to the rear patio. And then I have a third item.
So this is here on an enforcement order?
Correct.
Can we, under an enforcement order, authorize that type of a finding, or do we need a filing? And I'm asking because I don't know.
I think, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
So the steps just beyond the chimney, I think we can establish that that was there when Mr. Araman bought the house.
Okay, so we can take
Okay.
historical notice.
The connecting walkway around to the patio, I think, is sort of ancient history.
Yeah.
I mean, it,
They got the survey for the existing condition.
right,
Show
so,
no walkway.
right, so I think that would need to come under a formal application. That's just my opinion.
Okay. All right, let me see.
Well, she wants to finish.
Oh,
She's got,
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
no, she's got another.
There's another
Last item. So as part of the enforcement order, the commission required the shed in the backyard to be removed. That shed has been removed. However, there was a building permit pulled from the previous property owner that I submitted into the package. And that was the shed from the previous owner that was there. My client would like to have a shed on his property and put that back.
I'm reading your bullet on this. So a 2006 shed building permit was signed off by conservation staff at the time without coming before the commission?
And her notation on the building permit was, property surrounded by wetlands, shed must be outside the 25-foot, without requiring a formal application.
I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah,
The 25 foot is in the middle of the grass,
is,
right?
yeah.
No, no, what the problem is, the
Yep.
authority of the staff member to make that kind of a,
Who was the administrator, Tom, was it Allison?
The administrator was Allison, the sign-off was Pam Merrill.
Must have been the Wild Wild West back then.
so it was.
certainly was.
We were, it was the Wild West. Yes, it was. We were in between professional administrators, and that's as much as I should probably say right now.
I don't think the wetlands have moved 25 feet in from where they, I mean, they placed a shed supposedly 25 foot outside of the wetlands, according to your notation that you just read off.
So
They were
here's-
supposed to?
So here's the problem I'm having, though. I'm still trying to get past the sign-off. If the applicant shows up with a permit signed off by a member of our staff, whether or not the staff brought it in front of the commission or not, the applicant reasonably relied upon that permit.
Yeah, but I think Brad's saying that they didn't keep it outside the 25-foot, which the administrator told them to do.
Yeah,
put
they
it
didn't
right at the
comply.
wetland.
Yes.
So they didn't do what they were, the administrator didn't have the authority to tell them to keep it outside the 25, but it didn't matter because the applicant put it inside the 25. I understand Brad's.
But the applicant may not where the wetland was. I mean, most
Well, that's-
homeowners don't know where a wetland is.
I get that, and they're the holder of a document that says that they can have a shed outside the 25. I think we're almost behooved to support that. Yep. But they can't put it back where it was, it has to be outside the 25.
I think that that would probably be a reasonable approach.
So she said, single-family house is surrounded by wetlands, must be greater than 25 from edge of lawn/wetland. So she was basically saying, the edge of lawn is the edge of wetland.
Yeah, that,
And then they put it past the edge of
Oh,
the.
yeah, it's in the wetland,
So,
in my opinion.
I mean, we're not gonna fault the current homeowner for the last homeowner not
Right.
following it. He still
Right.
got a shed.
so what are we telling her?
I think he can have a shed if it's outside the 25.
Outside the 25? I think so, too.
I think that's
I
generous.
mean, he's got, that document says he can, so.
Is that something that he could do now under the enforcement, or would that,
I think that's something he can do under whatever document he's got, the building permit or whatever.
I think the document that was signed by the then representative of the commission, in spite of the fact that what she did was completely wrong and off base, the applicant is holding a piece of paper and relying upon that piece of paper.
okay,
Unfortunately.
So it's not constituting a waiver, it's saying get out of the 25.
okay.
And the shed, let's see, the application said it's either gonna be a 10 by 12 or a 10 by 16. I'm not sure.
That's a 2006?
Yeah,
Yeah, so as long as it's the same size and outside the 25.
yeah, so maybe it would be
Speaking
snug up,
personally,
snug
I'd
next
be
to the
okay with it.
gazebo
Yeah,
or whatever,
but-
or,
I think we have, yeah, I think we're kind of in a position where you got a rare bird there, ma'am.
Sometimes you get lucky, Mr.
Every
Chairman.
now and then.
It's not very
Every
often.
now and then, a blind squirrel can find a nut, I know.
You got that
Yeah.
right. Okay, so that resolves the shed. The two steps that are remaining beside the home, is that something that is allowable, given the fact that the aerial photographs show that?
What year was the aerial photograph taken?
It was the original walkway.
So this is the generator that we permitted. So that was 2021. He just bought the house. So here is, you know, the walkway that goes and then steps down, so.
The generator's there, so that's within the last 4 years is what you're saying.
Yes, it's right when he bought the house, because he was doing a generator before, or when he moved in, so, and this was here.
From my point of view,
Just-
those steps look proximate to where the old path ended, and this gives him a better end product, I suppose.
Yep.
So I don't hate the steps ending where they are. I'm absolutely against finding old pictures and connecting it to the end run of connecting it to the back patio.
Yep. Right.
Any thoughts, any opinions, anybody feel differently? So your opinion is?
My opinion is, I think I'm okay with the steps. It does look to be pretty close to where the old steps were. I do not support putting the concrete back in to connect to the back patio. So you're 2 for 3.
But if that's,
It's not bad.
in my opinion, if the homeowner does want to connect the steps to the back patio, then that would be a separate application they could
Okay.
file, and
Yeah.
we would review it at that time.
Like Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
It's not bad at all.
This is your day, you bought to buy a lottery ticket when you leave here.
I think the jackpot's still pretty big, Mr. Chairman.
So, how do we want to verify compliance with the shed?
Where is the shed?
The shed's gone, so I don't know whether it was demolished or whatever, but,
Well, it sounds like they can put a
think-
shed, they can put a
I
shed
think-
back there if they
right.
want.
Right, but Amy's gonna have to go out there and see
Yeah, and
where
I-
they plan to put it ahead of
I
time.
would like to know where they decide to put it. Is it right next to the gazebo here?
So a pre.
Is it over here, or
a
just,
pre-construction.
are we like kissing the 25 in the corner? Like, I'd like to,
So a site visit
maybe
with.
we can,
That's fine. I don't think he knows at this point. It was, let's see what the commission allows.
yeah. I mean, I'd like it personally tucked closer to the pool than closer to the 25.
I agree with,
For the permit?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I
it's
guess,
like-
but,
I would-
I know,
agree. I would
but,
like it places,
so,
but I
let
think-
me just make my case, because if, say, we kitty corner a shed right here, lots of things happen behind sheds. Lots of things happen behind sheds, and that's gonna be in the 25. So,
Legally, they're allowed to put it
I
any
know.
corner if they want
All
to,
right,
so.
whatever.
I agree with
I
you, but
tried,
so if you can arrange to have a site visit with
yeah.
okay,
the applicant and you can come to an agreement that,
okay,
you know,
I think it's just doing hey, if you don't want to end up with another EO that says you gotta take down the shed you just put up, it behoove you to have the staff come over and say, hey, here's where we think you might wanna put it, but I agree with Marissa, I think legally,
I still think a pre-construction site visit between staff and the applicant
Gotta make
would
sure we got
solve it,
erosion control.
yeah, work it out in the field.
yeah.
That works.
You can make it happen, sign the peace accord.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
So we have to modify or amend the enforcement order, or do we want to void the enforcement order and issue a new one? We want to just modify this one to reflect what we discussed tonight?
Yeah, I guess it makes
Up
sense
to you, I
to
mean-
modify
So we can approve the
To amend.
modification for the end of the
steps.
stairway and deny the modification for the extension of the walkway.
Yep,
And we do not need to address the path, or the shed, I'm sorry.
It's already,
Sh-
they
and
already
the
have a
shed
permit to
just-
put the shed.
shed require
Yeah.
a pre-location
Yes.
site visit.
The only
and-
requirement is you go to site and sit down with
Yes,
Maureen and,
and we walk the site and figure out,
So I think what you put in that enforcement order concerning the shed is prior to any work being done concerning the placement of a shed,
Shed.
there must be a pre-construction meeting.
okay.
which is a reasonable request.
So I guess my motion is to modify the existing enforcement order to allow the new stair location to be where it currently sits.
Yep. Deny
And
connection, deny the connection proposal.
to deny the connection. And do I need to add on a condition for the shed?
Just a
Is that part of this?
Yeah,
a site
Yeah.
meeting.
So moved, part of that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous, it appears.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, 488 Pleasant Street, continued from November 12th, 25. Amy, if you want to bring us up to speed on this as best you can,
Okay, so,
especially since I was not at the November 12th meeting.
well, we didn't discuss much at the November 12th meeting. We,
Okay.
granted a continuance requested by the homeowner, made a caveat that communication would be in writing
Okay.
with the homeowners and their agents. And, then we wrote a letter just kind of giving chronology from April till at that point.
Okay.
So since the November 12th meeting, I have not received any new information. And if, just for the record, the homeowner had attempted to engage a wetland consultant, but it just didn't work out, so.
Okay.
And I provided you guys with a chronology for the notice of intent when the house was built, and then a chronology for the violation in April of this year, so. Okay. Take one and pass along.
So, just so I'm clear, and I can be as expeditious as possible,
Yes.
in as few words as possible, what exactly are we asking for, or what are we seeking right now?
Well, we have an outstanding order, enforcement order,
Okay,
that points back to the planting plan that was approved by, under the notice of intent for the house.
so that was part of the order of conditions?
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
And just to, in reading the planting plan, it called for a double-row staggered hedge of 146 high-bush blueberry shrubs to be planted 3-foot centers along the upslope border of the 25-foot no-disturb zone, in addition to wetland markers and posts to be installed at the edge of the 25. Invasive species at the time included tartarian, honeysuckle, and bittersweet, were to be removed and replaced with 50 native shrubs that included hazelnut, chokeberry, and dogwood. And then it also called for an upland seed mix to be spread over the sewer easement to allow DPW access to the easement without having to disturb too much of the woody vegetation. So that was the intent of the approved planting plan that was actually approved by staff, but the order allowed for staff to approve that. And, you know, in reviewing the file, there was written documentation of field notes that conservation staff, observed the installed plantings and the wetland markers. And then when they went for the certificate of compliance, wetlands preservation, wetland consultant confirmed the same at that time as well. And that was in 2006 when you issued the certificate of compliance. So that's just sort of a quick overview of the planting plan for when the house was built.
So what we're trying to do right now is solve the planting plan. We're trying to have new plants put in where others failed. Am I correct in understanding that?
Yeah, or disappeared.
So, however they met their demise,
Right,
plants that were directed to be planted by the order of conditions are no longer there,
right.
and we're looking for reestablishment of those plants.
Right.
Okay, I can follow this along now. All right. Go
So
ahead.
that's all I wanted to say, and
Okay.
so the homeowners are here.
Yes,
and we
let
can
me
give them the
inquire. Mr.
floor.
Brecker, good evening. You understand what is being asked?
No, I understand what I just heard, but
Okay.
since this situation arose last spring, there's been a variety of asks. And the goalposts have moved any number of times. We've attempted to respond as fully and cooperatively as we can. I'm hoping that what I've provided for you tonight is responsive to what was asked for at the November meeting. The letter that I received dated 19 November, which referenced the meeting, asked for three things. It asked for a planting plan, a vegetation management plan, and that I submit an application for the pre-existing floating dock, although no one was quite sure what that proper application would be. I thought it might be an abbreviated notice of intent, the WP4 application, but I was told by staff no. I then consulted with DEP and talked with Pam Merrill, who had been intimately involved with the order of conditions and the monitoring and everything when we built our house in 05, 06. We moved in June of 06, and the certificate of compliance was issued in October of 06. She suggested, and I have somewhere in this stack of paper the file that I would like to discuss then with Amy and Alexis. She suggested that I submit a request for determination of applicability for the dock, since it's been there since at least 2008, and it's never been moved or removed. And in other words, there's no work, there's no project, there's no construction, it's just been there all these years. So this is really a kind of after the fact permitting for it, but that's sort of a side issue. And the discussion that I had, the last discussion that I had about a week ago with Amy was, well, bring us what you'd like to do. We'll look at it and see if that makes sense. So that's just for the dock, which, as I say, has been there, and it was a floating dock until all the water's gone out of Stevens Pond. Now it's just resting in the mud. With respect to the planting, the original discussion was, okay, there was some attempt to trim as part of removing non-natives, et cetera, but that was deemed to be unacceptable, and we stopped. We didn't do anything more. It's a very small number of shrubs that got cut. So we said, okay, fine, we won't do any more. What would you like us to do by way of replacement? And I walked around the site, and we identified, with your staff, we identified 3 or 4 places, and they said, well, we'd like you to put some plants in here. How many? Maybe a dozen. Okay, so can you prepare a plan? We did, and the plan that we prepared and presented in November was for 20-odd, maybe twice as many as had been requested, and in a few extra places. I'm perfectly happy to plant more plants and improve the property, et cetera. I want to say one thing. We built this house from scratch. The land that it was on was a dump, which was recognized, in fact, by Conservation at the time, because of all the stuff that had to be carted away out of there, and there were accommodations made to do that. And there's this sewer easement that runs along. It was seeded with the seed mix that was mentioned earlier. And this property has not been altered one iota since we moved in. We didn't do a thing. We didn't cut anything. We got the certificate of compliance. We planted every plant that was asked for, put it all in, and we've been living there. And right now, there's 2 people who live here at this house. It's not heavily trafficked in any way, and we live there. So we're happy to put in whatever plants we're asked for. So at the November meeting, a sort of handwritten plan sketch really was offered up, and it was deemed not acceptable by the members of the commission. So we said, okay, Amy was kind enough to give us the list of North Andover approved plants. Let's go to that list and let's put in a lot of them. So that's what you have here now. So this is our proposed. It's almost 3 times as many plants as the last meeting that we had, and along the locations that were discussed at the meeting. So we're trying to, cooperate in every way that we possibly can. But I think what we would like most of all is some certainty. I mean, this is not I heard on the video of the November meeting, somebody used the word clear cutting. That's absolutely not true. There's no clear cutting on this site. There were a handful of shrubs, none of which were more than 1-inch caliper, that were cut. Okay, so we're not trying to re-landscape, we're not trying to alter anything. But you've asked for plantings. Here's our good faith response.
So you submitted this exhibit. This is your proposed planting plan?
Correct.
Okay. Amy, are you in?
Oh, I'm seeing it for the first time.
Okay, so Amy's just seeing it for the first time. Let me see if any of the commissioners have any questions for you, if you don't mind. David?
I'm all set.
Okay. Sean?
If Amy is comfortable with the proposed plantings, I'm comfortable with it. I've heard the work done out there described differently by different people. I don't know if I wasn't at the November meeting, so didn't hear the clear cutting, but I think at some point in time, somebody represented something less than it actually was.
Have you been to the site, Mr. McDonough?
I have been by that site too many times to count.
But have you walked on the site along the bank to actually see what's there?
No.
Why don't you, I'll be happy to give you the tour.
Well, I don't think it's really relevant to my statement that what has been represented to us at different points of time has been more than what has been said at other points in time. But I don't know if that's really relevant, because here we are trying to fix a problem and not talk about how we got there. So if Amy's comfortable with, and I'd love to come to your house, I don't mind that at all. I don't think it's necessary for this, though. But if Amy's comfortable with what's there and my commissioners, then I am too.
So I'm taking the same tact, Marissa.
Yeah, same. I think, it was actually my comments about the previous planting plan, and it was, I don't think there was any shrubs proposed. It was very small individual plants. That was how it was represented. So, this plan definitely has additional plantings. So I would defer to staff on if I think it's sufficient.
Nothing to add, thank you.
So I'm just going to, because I like things to move along.
Yeah, I know.
This appears to be, to me, it appears to be a reasonable proposal for a planting plan, but I would defer to you as the expert in wetland plants. If you feel, if in your opinion you feel this is good, if you need time to study it, that's also reasonable. So what I would strongly recommend is if you need time to study the submittal, we will continue the hearing, and you can during that period of time you can study it, look at it, think about it, then we'll invite the Breckers to come back and finish this thing.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to look at the vegetation management plan too a little bit closer, just to make sure.
Do we need another bite at the apple if it's in Amy's court? Or can we?
You guys can look at it. I mean, if you feel you.
I mean, we've all just deferred to Amy.
Well,
what the plantings will look like, and we.
You want to?
I'd like to not waste another Wednesday night here if they don't have to.
Well, what do you want to do? What are you asking?
I was thinking we can defer to staff at this point to close it out. And I mean, she's got a recommendation here. Oh, just spring deadline for reestablishment of the NOI plan, but we go with that, but the plantings are sufficient to make.
We are happy to work with Amy. We've walked on the property any number of times. It's always been cordial. I'm very happy to do whatever she asks.
I mean, it just sounds like we've come down to a point where we're all generally happy with some plantings.
Right.
Well, we don't know the specifics of the planting plan. That's why I wanted Amy to study it and see if it's.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get like sizes.
Okay.
And I'd
She needs-
like to ask the
Yeah.
commission, I mean,
I was just trying to save him a Wednesday
part of the
night.
planting
Can't do it.
plan and the requirement of the order was wetland posts as well, at the edge of the 25, so, is that something that you guys want reestablished? Because it appeared like throughout the filing and the written notes and the minutes that wetland posts were up at the
Yeah,
time.
we had them up. We put, as I say, we got a certificate of compliance
Right.
within 90 days after we moved into the house. And they were there with the little discs on them. But as I said, there's 2 people who live in this house.
Right.
And, fine, they're gonna cart me out of this house feet first, okay? I'm gonna be 80 years old in May. I can't promise I'm gonna be there forever. But I don't, I mean, I don't think they're necessary. I don't think they're necessary under the circumstances, but I would certainly make an undertaking to make them a condition of sale.
So here's what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that we continue this for 2 weeks,
No, it's actually 4.
28th, please.
whatever date you want.
Oh, the second.
January 14th or January 28th?
28th, please.
Okay, the applicant is requesting January
Okay.
28th. And in that period of time, I would humbly request that you study the planting plan as best you can. Maybe make contact with Mr. Brecker
Yep.
in the interim if need be, and bring us a finished product on the 28th. Something we can vote and close.
Okay.
And concerning the posts, you know, we're not talking, you heard earlier today how Brad pointed out somebody had 4-foot-high posts in their backyard. We can put the thing a foot off the ground and just put a marker on it. We're
But I
not
mean,
looking for anything
for whose
obstructive.
benefit is the marker?
It's
when
what
it's
we-
just us?
It's what we do. Whether we
No,
don't-
I
we-
understand
We don't
that.
ask people how many people live in the house, when they're gonna sell their house.
I can
We just do
answer,
it.
no, I can answer your question. Your question is legit. It's to the benefit of people that you hire to work on your property. It's
For instance, if
the
they
largest
were there-
amount of mistakes and wetland violations that are made around Lake Kachikwick are made by people who are well-intended, hired to do trimming, and are not versed properly in setbacks and species. And we've had a whole stand of river birch on the lake cut by a well-meaning landscaper, a very endangered species that there was only one stand on the whole lake and we lost it. So that's why
Okay.
it's not for you to have to look at. It's for whoever you hire.
Okay, we can talk further about that. My experience in town is that people who are determined to cut things down are not deterred by anything. You know that.
Well, we will, with you being in compliance with those signs up, and a third party comes in and cuts where they're not supposed to, now we have a way to go after them. Because that would constitute notice, and that's all we need.
Look, it's not the end of the world. I just think
We're trying to prevent the end of the world also, so. All right, so,
Motion to continue to January 28th.
I have a motion to continue, motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. We'll see you on the 28th.
Thank you.
And Amy may get in touch with you in the interim.
I just have a question, Jerry, about the RDA. So would you want to shoot submittal for the 28th for this as well? So
If
that
that's the case, then
Then that
I'll
makes-
do the.
it makes sense.
Yeah, I'll do
It's
the
two for-
advertising and all that. I just wanted to
Alright.
make sure that you were,
Okay, I'll review this and
yes.
I'll get back to you by email with anything any missing, I mean, the form itself might look fine, I'll just
No,
need all
there
the
is a page.
attachments
Let me
and
just
stuff.
get you the page.
Okay. You can email it to me if you want.
I do have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
I know you said the stock has been there since 2006, right? 2008?
At least since
Yep.
2008. There's a story to it.
Yeah, but was there any permit or anything that was applied for
No.
or received?
No, and I think, I don't know that anyone ever, I don't know. There are 5 houses on this little piece of property. They were all ancillary to the Stevens Mill. Each house, all the properties were owned by the Stevens Mill, and when the mill went out, whoever Old Man Stevens at the time was, gave or on a very concessionary basis, sold the houses to various employees of the mills, people to whom he was close. The property that we bought had been owned by a guy who was the chief chemist for the mills, and he got it from the Stevenses. Every one of those houses has some sort of dock of some kind. Some of them, there's one guy at the one closest to Mill Pond, has a plastic modular dock, and he pulls that out, and I think he can do that by hand because they're very light. And I don't know what the other people do.
Are very aware of that, and we took notice at a previous meeting that there are a total of 5 houses that have docks. They've had them since the 40s and 50s. So, yeah, we're aware of that.
So I looked to see what the dock permitting in the town was. There is specific permitting required on Lake Kachikowick, but there is no other reference to it. So in a sense, it's like your fence. You have to decide, is it a structure or something else? So I'm happy to pull the permit and do whatever you like. The dock floats. It stays there. We don't pull it out. We don't need any equipment, and it's a beloved habitat of a blue heron who comes there and rests every so often, and I've seen otters pull themselves up out of the water and rest on it. So we're not the only people who use it.
All right, we'll see you on the 28th, and hopefully we're looking forward to resolving it on that date.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you very much.
Where's my rock? Here it is. What's left? Granville Lane?
Yes, sir.
Jamie's or Rick's? Jamie's, okay. All right, Amy?
Okay.
265 Granville Lane.
Okay, you guys can come on up. Alrighty.
When you're ready.
Yeah. Alrighty, so this property more recently has been before the commission for a deck replacement. It was front access to the house. So, so we permitted that. I did a pre-construction with the contractor. And when he went to dig the footing, he severed the main electrical line to the house. And when was that? Like April or early spring? Early spring, yeah. I was totally unaware. A whole thing with the electrical inspector, that eventually they realized they have to dig up the whole thing and replace the whole thing, so they couldn't repair it. So they just went right ahead. The contractor dug the trench. It was right next to the wetland, along the driveway, and then along the shoulder of Granville Lane to the electrical box that was in the shoulder. I was on another site visit in that neighborhood and drove by and said, wow, look at that. So I had contacted the electrical inspector for the town saying I need contact, I gotta get them to do erosion controls. They did do that a couple days after. I did a follow-up site inspection. They did a final inspection with the electrical contractor and the inspector, and so I said, backfill it as soon as you can. They did. It wasn't the greatest job. It still needs fine-tuning. I had our town engineer out there a couple of weeks ago to look at it from, a right-of-way perspective, as it stands, at least at that point. He saw drainage problems that would be, was going to happen, and icing problems, so, and also the fact that they did need a permit from DPW for the trench, so that's gonna be an after-the-fact permitting process with DPW. So, we're at the point where we need to, in my opinion, get back down to original grade, because it's still mounded and trees are kind of surrounded by dirt and rocks. Luckily, the type of soil that's out there isn't erodible. It's pretty sandy, it stays right in place, so I haven't seen any problems from that, but long-term, it's not really stable. Homeowners are here this evening. I don't know if you have any updates since I met with you and John Borghese out on the site.
I know he had a landscaper come last Friday, and I think he's having 1 or 2 more come this week, just to get quotes.
Okay.
Because I know when we walked it, we want to scrape it back to fill it in. They dug the trench, put it back in quick, and I know those days it was like raining. It doesn't look good, obviously. We don't think it looks good. They want to just scrape it back and talk about seeding and all that, and getting it back to where it was.
Right.
So it appears that what it needs to be is graded and seeded.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's just pushed out. Once they pull that, dirt back, it will be in the right grading, and then we just have to seed it. Unless you guys have other things.
Yeah, so, when they do that fine-tuning work of scraping it all back, it really needs to be both to the spec of DPW, and for the protection of the wetland. So I think requiring that I be on site and John Borghese be on site when they're doing the final, when they're actually, so that we can direct them and make sure that they're getting it right. And then I'd like to see seeding with native seed mix, and I have some just recommendations that I'll give them the seed spec that I'd like to see, and from the vendor that we need to order it from, so we make sure it's native, and do like an extra application, like a 1.5 application beyond what is usually required by the vendor or the manufacturer, just to make sure we have, well, that's, see, that's, I know that.
If you were gonna do it now,
I
I would tell
know.
you to put winter rye out there.
Right,
And winter rye does exactly what
Right.
it says. It'll germinate, and it'll stabilize the
Right.
top,
right,
and then you can regrade it and reseed it in the spring when the frost is out. But when you're
Yeah.
anticipating frost, winter rye is the best.
right. So I would assume that DPW, John Borghese, would want that done sooner than later, before we have a full-blown winter plowing situation and icing and drainage problems. So I would
Okay.
say at least getting the grading back to where it was. We can do, and I wouldn't be, a lot of native seeds can overwinter easily. So if we mix in winter rye with the native seed mix and blanket it, it can probably be okay for the winter. And then in the spring, there'll need to be some monitoring for at least a season or two, to make sure it's all truly stabilizing. And the erosion control will need to get, extended a little bit, staked properly, so I
Yeah, I
just
think
have
once
that.
they pull it back, I think that they can fix the
Yeah.
erosion control. But would it be okay to grade it and then seed it in the spring, or does it need to be seeded?
You gotta stabilize it.
in the, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
You gotta
not-
stabilize it right away,
Yeah.
Yeah.
best you can, even if they just put mulch on top of it, something has to hold it down.
Yeah.
Some type of a netting, a
Blanketing.
jute,
Jute mesh.
yeah, that would be, anchor it down
Right.
now, so if we have a crazy winter and a big rainstorm in the
right.
spring, it doesn't all go
Right.
down the road.
Right,
We don't have another flagship, you know?
right. So,
What would have been the proper procedure with us for something like this? I mean, obviously, they're not gonna wait to file an RDA for our next meeting to get power back at their house.
no, it would probably be an emergency certification.
Yeah. And that would
If
just
I had known.
involve, like, putting
And,
silt sock
yeah.
down, just basically what you told them to do, right?
It's a cut and cover.
Yeah.
It's a temporary disturbance,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah, it was just,
You put it in, bury it, and
just
it's
the
done.
way they mounded it on the wetland side, it was,
Just
Yeah.
one question, I'm assuming that the new electrical line was buried deep enough and it wasn't mounded to provide enough cover?
Yeah, they inspected everything, they came.
this picture is kind of achieving. I mean, I could probably stand in that trench and be up to maybe like here, would you say?
Um,
About that?
Yeah,
deep?
it was a good, I think it was 4 feet down.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be-
Okay.
It's gotta
It's-
be
yeah.
48 inches.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely, I think it was
It has to be.
4 feet wide
Yeah,
by
I mean, it
4
was-
feet
yeah.
down.
That's the code
Yeah.
Okay,
on,
Yeah.
on
Right.
an electrical trench.
And they signed off on it and, yeah, before they filled it in.
before they
Okay.
filled it in, right?
Alright, just making sure they didn't mound to make
Mound
sure they
to
got
get
that
that.
48 inches, cause.
That's,
done
Tell it.
not properly.
it's just,
It just
the
does
way
not
they
look
filled it
good.
in, it's just,
And it probably didn't help
Yeah.
that I think it rained.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
So, you know, we would operate under an official enforcement order with all these directives so that your contractor and you know what kind of what's expected and,
Yeah.
so that's what we're looking at.
So what we want, what we're looking for, I think, is to stabilize it as soon as possible.
Yeah,
And once it's
Yep.
stabilized, they can dress it
Mon-
up. Under your direction, they can
Right.
dress it up going into next summer, but stabilize it now,
yep,
so we don't
Yep.
have overwash.
yeah.
Sheet-
Yeah, and I think we need to
Sheet
get,
flow would be the worst thing.
Yeah.
And so how do we prevent?
right, and that's grading and that's working with DPW to make sure the shoulder's just
and-
right.
And they put some netting in, what's the name of that netting?
Jute mesh.
That's a great product.
Alexis, do we have to make sure when they hold back, when they regrade it, that the root collars get exposed again,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yep. Yeah,
Th-
'cause-
That
'cause
one's
these
the only one that
guys-
looks really bad, but
Yep. Yeah.
So you have
They're,
power.
they're,
Yeah, a simple project turned into, not so simple.
They're all simple when they start out.
I said this is never again.
How's the deck?
It's still
Still going.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, we don't
We're
yeah.
hoping to have it done by Christmas maybe. But,
Amy, do you need us to modify the enforcement?
I need you to issue a formal enforcement order with with
Issue it.
the recommendations.
All right, you wanna do the 3 bold ones you have there? Is that what you want us to do?
The all the bullets.
the bullets on the front
On
page.
the, no, on the recommendation page, the email page.
Okay, that's a lot of bullets, so I'm gonna say, I move that we issue an enforcement order with the conditions shown on bullet form on page 1 of this document.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Do I need to stipulate the thing we talked about, or is that covered in here? The root collars?
No, we should add it.
Okay.
Root collar.
Could I just amend,
It-
friendly amendment to your motion to ensure
Yep.
that when it,
As amended.
Certainly.
thank you.
Yep.
Motion as amended.
Root collar exposure. Okay.
And maybe with an ear spade? No.
Any other amendments? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you.
All right, so I'll be following up with the
Good luck,
formal
guys.
enforcement. We'll list out everything, and then we can just connect. Okay. Thank you for coming in. Thanks, all right.
Motion and a second to
I have a
adjourn.
motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. We stand adjourned. Thank you.